Hey buddy, it's me, Player Negative, and today, of course, if you checked your calendar, is March 10th, otherwise known as Mario Day. And to honor the Pistachio Man and not Nintendo, I'm decided to create a tier list of all the different iterations of Mario, except for the one made by Nintendo. Now, why Game Mario by Nintendo is on this list, he's not going to be on the top. The competitors are Game Mario, Last of Us Mario from that SNL skit, Nissan Mario, Mario Super Show Mario, Mashed Mario, Random Encounters Mario, Let There Be Brawl Mario, Leveled Up Mario, SML Mario, Movie Mario, SMG4 Mario, and Super Speedrun Mario. Now let's first start off with Game Mario. Now, where should we put him exactly? Well, you could argue because of how he shaped the video game industry, he would definitely deserve an A spot. But due to Nintendo's current years and how lackluster 3D Mario's been, I could put him at the bottom. So as a nice compromise, we're going to shove him into C tier. Alright, good, good. Now, don't get angry about any of these versions, but some of them you may or may not have heard of. Alright, next up is movie Mario. Now, the new movie coming out, a lot of people are excited. A lot of you guys want the movie to do good, and it was pretty accurate to the games. However, Mario didn't do much. He wasn't that strong in the beginning, which I get it's the first movie, but it's really unclear on where to put him, mainly due to the fact he's not bad, but he's also not good. The Mario movies are good, but they're kind of just, basic and kind of rushed. The first one was. Maybe the second one will do it, but for now, I'll also put him in C tier. Alright. Enough of this mainstream crap, and let's go to something a little bit more classic. The Super Mario Bros. Super Show. This version of Mario has its charms, its niches, and the average era for people who grew up watching it on Netflix thanks to the fact that it was preserved on there. He's going into B tier. I don't want to hear any arguments about it. It was good. The movie, this show walked so the movie could run. Alright, so now that we got the official versions of Mario out of the way, let's go to more of the random, more obscure. Starting off with something strong and something pretty bare bone basic that I'm sure a good majority are familiar with. The SML sketch of what if Mario was like The Last of Us or Mario Kart. Now, yes, this was a joke, but this version of Mario was serious but funny. But to be honest, there wasn't really much to him. I get the joke was that it was a fake trailer, that you're not supposed to see everything about it, but I just think they could have done something different with him. Because at least these three just have something. This really doesn't, so I'm shoving them into D tier. Sorry, it's just what I had to do. Next up on the list is someone a little bit better. Who should I do next? Oh, wait a minute. The next live-action Mario on the list. Mario Brothers from the Mario Brothers musical by Random Encounters. The song's a banger, and I love how this version of Mario tried to go for more of a realistic tone with its clothing by having something that resembles more of a quartet or a actual plumber. So, for the sake of its actual skill and how it's still been able to hold up really well today, and how Random Studios basically started off with this, I'm going to put him in A tier. Slightly above, slightly a little bit of niche. It's my own personal opinion. Okay. Next up is Leveled Up Mario. Now, the videos were funny in the beginning, but part of it kind of feels a little bit sloppy considering they made videos like Mario becomes taller every time he jumps, or Mario becomes fatter or something. And honestly, the videos are just the same repeat of the same stuff, which kind of seems like a little bit of slop, so I'm shoving them down to E tier. SML Mario. F tier. Definitely going down to F tier. I care very little for it, and to be fair, the SML series was just built on being insulting. I mean, they made Yoshi a stereotype of... They made Black Yoshi a stereotype. They kept on insulting artistic people, which, you know, I take that offense very personally. And just... it wasn't really that impressive. So, definitely not going in there. Alright, so... Mario Kart mashed anime Mario. The animation, really good. The tone and attitude of the character, pretty well written. I love the over-the-top action about it. I would have to put him in B tier, because while he is good for an extent, he doesn't really get much action outside of other characters with a little bit more dynamic scenes within the story, so I'm gonna have to put him in B tier. Super Speedrun Mario from YouTube, from those YouTube videos, There's Something About So-and-so Games, is honestly my favorite version of the plumber, and one of the most memeable and funny versions of what YouTubers have done with him. But he's not the best, so A tier. Let There Be Brawl. Now, for those of you who... Oh, wait, sorry, I didn't mean to Let There Be Brawl. Now, this version of Mario, this version in particular, came from a dark crime series version of Super Smash Bros. Called Let There Be Brawl, based off the crime drama show Let There Be Blood. Now, this was an older time on the internet, like the early 2000s. Do I think this version of Mario is aged well? Yes and no. To be honest, there are some cracks with it, but overall it's okay, I guess. So I guess we could stick him in B tier. Alright, Nissan or Mercedes Mario from that one Nissan sales ad. I just love how over the top and exaggerated his features are. Like, for starters, they could have just be simple and just put in a 3D model of Mario and made him look slightly realistic like in Brawl. But instead, they just keep the over-the-top attitude and treat it so seriously, to the point where it's funny, but also cool. So I completely respect it. We're going to put it into B tier as well. B tier as well. And that leaves the last Mario. The GOAT, the man who, from the series that's recently finished, but will always be remembered, SMG4 Mario. This one was funny, because on one side, you could argue that the character is too dumb and stupid, and shouldn't be on this list. But hear me out. The character himself actually has a lot of nuance to him when you look around. Starting off as a complete comic relief, but slowly evolving into both a character with a lot of depth and personality, going from a goof to someone who's just trying to express himself and find what's unique about him. You see, the whole thing about Mario in the games is that he has no personality. He's just an empty slot for the player to fill. This version of Mario is aware of that, but rather than doing the crappy MCU, let's be wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and make fun of anything serious type tone, they instead decide to make him realize that and try to improve. He starts out as an idiot. He starts out as comic relief. But later on down the line, he goes from being that to a much more dynamic character. Now, granted, he's still an idiot, but he's an idiot with depth. And that's something Nintendo never did. They managed to turn a dumb version of Mario, who, with a large, misshapen mouth, into one of their most sincere and popular characters. I think he definitely deserves S tier, and this right here feels like the bona fide list of Mario. Say what you will about it, but what's your favorite version of Mario? Do you think I did this tier list right, or do you think I should correct it? Leave a link down in the comments below. I'm Player Negative, and I'll see you later.